촉 들어가면서 씨 들어가면서
나이스! 용명이 화이팅! 용명이 화이팅!
알겠습니다.
나무 맞은 것 같아? 아, 저 우측에 들어왔어.
Okay.
다음으로 대광관영 소속의 김효문 선수입니다.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our apologies for some delays getting the audio up and running, but it appears that we welcome you in to the Payram Club. 54 holes of stroke play. We are all set and ready to get this competition underway. Amy Jung, she is at 4 under par and is putting for a birdie here on the par 5 9th. This will need some speed. Right to left break is what she was anticipating, but she either putts and powers through it or has a slight misread as she will not be able to influence the score any further. Some trouble for Jung Ji-yo on the par 5 9th. After her tee shot, she was right of the fairway, a downhill stance in the rough. Trying to make the best out of a tough situation and is able to recover into the second cut. It is not quite the fairway and not quite the rough, but either way, it is in a much better position than it had been just a few moments ago. Grayon, it is even for her at the turn. Playing the east course on the way out and the west course on the way in. It is a 346-meter par 4 to get this back 9 started. The option from the fringe, chip or putt, Lee Jung-in has decided flat stick is the club. It's a little dribbler, but will not have the pace to go on and reach the pin. Well, this was So Hyun's tournament last year. She won with a 9 under 207 aggregate score 1 year ago. This is now Jung Ji-yo's third. Bottom third of the green, and that's okay, but she's on the wrong side of it. Front left would have worked out perfectly, but she's down in the little valley about 8 yards on from the green. Yan at 3 under. This is her approach at number 18. Carries a good distance. And just about end up pin high with a little run down the hill. Fairway that was gone missed. Approach is short, stuck up on the rough. Degrees in overcast skies today. We are up in Yeoju-shi, Gyeonggi-do region of the nation. Oh, 180-degree lap around the hole. It stays out on the right side, and she'll have to tap in. She understandably thought she was there for her birdie. Pin drop in the gallery, but our aviary friends didn't quite get the memo. From that range, very little could possibly throw her off. It's a simple tap-in finish, and while it was a bit of an adventurous hole, she's in with her par. Julian now on 18, a long way back across. Left to right, it needs to hang on. Break comes in just a hair too early. The offer to her is a par as well. A little more than 10 centimeters or so. Kim Shion is out with a 33, a 3 under 9 hole start to this tournament.
그래도 뭐가 더 벌이 많이 나오는 것 같아. 응? 이렇게 저기 가다가 그때 잘 구부리는 거야. 가리갈 수도 있어.
And he's young and on number 8. Protected up here on the tee ground, very little wind that is noticeable in behind. It's 2.4 meters per second. She can't even say that she was blown off course, as the flag stick is, or the flag atop of the stick is still. Just didn't quite have that one lined up correctly. Jung Ji-yo next. She is playing her 4th. She's going to try and run this up as close as she can to the flag. Decides to putt as well, and looks a great choice. But she would have been able to do much better with the wedge. She will have to make sure it's just 2 putts on this hole to avoid dropping. Han Sung-hee, it's an 8-iron on 8. She's 1 under after 7. She'll get to the backside and slide close to the fringe, and in fact, she is just off by a sliver. Jung-min, her 4th putting from the fringe as well. Opportunity to go up to 3 under, but it was slightly miscalibrated. A lot of break, a crescent-shaped line from where she struck it to where it finished. She should be able to save. Steals her nerves and does just that. Jung-geo is next. Has to be ultra sure about the line here. It was dangerous if she was misaligned, but she preserves that bogey-free front 9. A 33 is a popular score at the turn. Most recent player to head to 10 at 3 under. Hong Jin-young 2 at 2 under a 9-iron. 116 meters to the hole. And a 2-meter change in elevation to boot. She's able to hit and stick. Could have used a little more club. Dungen in the rough. It's going to need a good amount of loft on this pitch. Takes a different approach and drives it instead into the hillside. And well, it wouldn't have been my first choice. I'm nowhere near as talented as the player we saw just pull off a really good up and a rather simple down for her par. Nice save. Jung off the fairway as well at 10. Bounces it in the grassy runway before the green. As we all know, it's always the club's fault. Look of disgust as she handed it back to her caddy. Now on Sung-hee. Could take her to 2 under, just a little slow. Last player to try on this hole. Didn't have enough club. Third and final from the fairway is too much club as it settles in the back fringe. She's always a player we expect to make a splash. She knew which way it would break. She just couldn't envision the amount of movement from the left to the right. I heard a birdie. Next is Pak Young. She is 1 under after 8, and just like the rest of her group, a marvelous approach shot, and there should be a few players in the mix who think that the birdie is a very realistic outcome. Jung Jio at 3 under. She is 5 back of Kim Min Sun's 7 pace setting score of 8 under. Can't keep it in the fairway with the driver. It is a very narrow fairway. She isn't the first and won't be the last to skip and roll into the tall grass. This green is where she's headed. It's a long 20 meters back. So Ji-Yeon, this is absolutely scintillating. She's tracking all the way. Just kicked offline in the final revolution or two. Wonderful touch from around the green, and now Lee So-young. So we'll bring her back to even if she can convert. Three meters away, and even 36 after 9. Bogeyed the first, birdied the last, tied for 63rd of 144 players in the fields. Pak Young, she did the hard parts on the setup. She gets to reap the benefits. Birdie's at 6 and 9 as she is 2 under at the midway mark. Long swooping putt, coming back true, doesn't have the movement, no. Awfully close, but it's not to be. Coach Yu could use a birdie to get back to even. This will do wonders to bring the scorecard back in line. Excellent tee shot, the best we've seen so far today. She's unsure if she likes it or not as it leaves the face of her putter. If anything, it's a pretty clear indication that she knew she wasn't holing with the first putt. That's what Chung Yoon-ji will try to do here on the par 5. It's got a nasty little break at the end, but close enough that it's no factor. A rocky start, but she settled in. Bogeys 1 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pars, and a birdie here at number 9. Good putt to get it the rest of the way. Hong Jin Young 2 starts the back 9 with the par. Well, it's the 9th event of the season, and it is a fascinating competition, this E1 Charity Open. 1 billion won up for grabs, a prize money take-home of 180 for the winner. The charity competition will see different social contribution activities throughout the tournament, throughout the course. And for the 13th time, total prize money has gone up by 100 million won to bring us up to the total compensation number of 1 billion, showing the continued investment and great success of this fantastic golf tour. Completely disguised the pin around the dog leg with the second shot on the par 5. In the interim, we stay on number 10, or return to number 10. Jung Ji-oh, a pitching wedge 116 from the rough. We've seen that this isn't a disastrous outcome. It's about 20 meters from the flag. Great backspin. Allows the ball to dig in. Great setup shot, allows her to go on and attack that flag. Birdie, very much a possibility. Coach Yu has a chance to get back to even. She has been the best when it comes to her birdie percentage on tour this season, 23.5%.
너무 이쪽으로 갔네. 돌렸어. 살짝만 돌려.
Awfully close. That will leave a bitter taste. Golden opportunity gone by the wayside. Moment or two longer, she'll have to wait. Lee Dungin will go on first, 2 under, approaching 9 with her third shot. Again, almost non-existent wind, just the golfer and the grass. Not on the tight cut of it. That is, of course, the green, just a little short. Same boat for Im Jin Young, but starting this from the fairway and from a much closer range. She gets up and she gets down in a hurry. Marvelous. A meter and a half, all that separates her from birdie at 50%. Not to be outdone. Almost an exact distance as the last soft greens. And on the par 5, a very attackable pin. It's a great recipe for success. Jung Jio did not want to try the wedge. She's going to stick with the putter. Hasn't guaranteed herself that she will escape unscathed either, as that's about 6 meters to the right of the pin. Nowhere near what So Jian was able to do 1 hole ago. Here she is on the par 4, 11th. It is a 90-meter approach. Parallel with the middle of the right side bunker. It's about 14 yards on. She'll be able to have any complaints with that.
나이스 보기! 한지성 만세!
Took the words out of my mouth. Nice birdie as Han Jin-sun goes back to back and gets under par. For Amy Jung, a little trouble off the tee. Only 82 meters out, but she is in the thick rough. 52-degree wedge is her club of choice. Does really well from an unenviable lie.
나이스!
Junji, oh, too much speed on the way back. She misses her putt for par. Jungmin uphill, but it breaks the opposite direction. Expecting it to go right, it goes left. Is something of a head scratcher. Gio gets it the rest of the way. Not the outcome she was hoping for. That goes without saying. One more groups finishing up on the east course. For Lee Dongnan, she is right alongside the fringe and putting for birdie. I would expect this from our vantage point to come top to bottom of the screen. It should be a right to left break for her. Gave it a bit too much juice, and maybe that ball marker does her a favor by slowing her up. Amy Jung would have believed she'd be in this position after her drive, but she can move within 3 with the birdie. Downhill with plenty of speed. It loses the line at the end. Grazes over the right side of the hole, and she'll have to settle for a par. Not sold on it. Her caddy comes over for a closer look. Just about stayed, but it does end up skipping into the rough. Razor thin margins down the right side. Didn't have enough. A subtle draw. Back to the left. Im Jin Young. Too much speed. It's a similar miss with about 10% less on that putt. She might have been able to look at a different outcome. Jung Ji-Oshi is next. last in the group to get this hole underway. By the skin of her teeth, she stays alive in the fairway, side by side with her group mate. So Jian, she's done everything right with every other club in her bag, but this putter has cost her a few strokes today. Not that she's bogeying, but she's not climbing the way everything else about her game is working and indicating it would be going. We have the luxury of seeing what we anticipate being a sharp break to the right. Was less so than it appeared from our seat. Hong Jin Young lines it, reads it, and executes well. Her third birdie. Well, it is 2:43 p.m. local time on a Friday afternoon in Yeoju-si for the 13th E1 Charity Open. Kim Min-sun, a 64, hot out the gates. Che Inu, a 66. Che Reem Pakiel tied for third at 5 under par. A lot of the players that we are following are in and around this top 10, including Imi Jung at 4 under, just getting her back 9 underway. We'll take a quick break and be back with more on the KLPGA Tour. Back at Payram as our opening round coverage of the 13th E1 Charity Open continues. Just about returned with a highlight reel birdie from off the green. Our leader is Kim Min-sun 7. She is 7 under. She is 8 under after 64 holes. It is a 2-stroke advantage. Means that there will be some birdieing to do for Park Young on this back 9 to bring herself back into contention. She goes in between her group mates' ball markers and makes a direct run for the hole. 3 birdies through 10. She is up into the tie of the top 10 now. That's a very nice make. Jung Ji-yo, her approach at 11. Looking down at the pin and be looking down at a brilliant approach shot. Couple of birdies at the very least from that trio. Hong Jin-young 2. She is in the rough after her drive at 12. Still 293 to go. This is her second. Karam's left almost perfectly in the middle of the fairway. Good second shot. She will be envious of the other 2 players in the threesome. She is the furthest from the pin. Amy Jung. Tied for 5th at the moment. Should have enough speed to have rolled that back onto the fairway. She's a long way from the finish line. She also knows she absolutely has what it takes to get the job done here in this event. Hong Hyun-ji, this is the very first hole, typically. She teed off on the 10th this morning. Just get to work on the East course now. Now Coach Yu. There's a slight chance that a birdie would take her back to even. It's an excellent putt. Some ground to cover. So she starts and ends the front 9 with birdies. There was a double bogey in between. That is a even 36 at the turn. Hyun Sun is able to tap in and go to 2 under par. That is 3 birdies on the bounce. Nice little spell in the middle of her round. Took a lot of the grass with that approach. You could hear the thud. Carries it about 3 meters past the pin. And the roll takes her even a touch further.
working off some great finishes the past couple of weeks, and very clearly playing with a lot of confidence in the early stages of this event. Oh, too much speed, not enough line. Catches the inside of the cup and shoots back out to the right. So Jiyoon continues to approach the greens well. It's another in the column. Dungin was fortunate to avoid the sand, just shy of the bunker, and even more fortunate to stay away from that tree. Uses her strength to force it up onto the green, but it's about 8 meters short, as she likely would have expected based on the lie. And Jungmin also knocking on the door of the top 10. She's not playing with a lot of external confidence, just based on her body language. She is struggling a bit with the driver. She will be disappointed not to be an extra stroke closer to the top after a short look at a birdie. Tries to hit the reset button. I'll be curious what it looks like from the opposite side. She is certainly close to having bounced and rolled that into the rough. No changes in the top 10. And I will note as well, EA1, who a lot of people were rightfully curious to see how she would fare after a couple of wins, including the Tucson match play. She is tied for 42nd with a 1-under score. 69 is a popular mark. It is tied for 10th of 144 so far this week at the 13th E1 Charity Open. We appreciate you taking a little time out of your Friday afternoon to join us here at the Payram Club. Event number 9 of the season on the KLPGA Tour. Hey, So-hyun, the defending champion. He done his second shot on the par 5. To stay on the narrow fairway as it meanders its way down towards the green. 509 meters. It is the second shortest of the par 5s. Hanshin Sun is next. Also, uneventful second shot. Those are always the best types on the par 5. This is where our featured groups are headed. To the green, looking for birdies. Both top 10s in a row, as mentioned just a little while ago, for Amy Jung. And now Chung Ji-oh. She did just avoid troublesome position from which to swing that wood. Some ground to cover. Played it with a bit too much speed. Within a roll or two of excellence, Park Yang-gun will nudge it the rest of the way. So Ji-yeon is not going to be able to reach that 3-under score. No birdies to be found anywhere amongst the group. Let's see. Hong Jin-young 2 fares, trying to stay at 3-under. Too much. Firm pop on the backside of the hole, and she will be going down. It's a bogey to take her to 2-under. Next up on the approach. It's pretty good, all things considered. Between clubs, reaches the green in 3. She'll need a rather long putt if she is to birdie. Best of the lot. A lawn dart settles into a great position. She'll need 2 birdie to get her round back on track. Well, there are 144 players in the field with 1,000,000,001 up for grabs. Kim Min-sun at 8 under par. It's a very impressive round, especially when you consider the winning score from a year ago was 9 under. So she's done some great work early. So is Imi Jung. She is through 12 at 4 under. That is, quick maths, half the distance to the top of the leaderboard, and a rather busy top 10. Park Do-young headlining that field, though we do still have Chung So-lee, Lee Chaeun-tu, Park Young-kyung, Kim Shi-hyun still out on the course, all at that 3 under mark. Jun Yo-min, Chae-won, Pang Shin-shil, 3 of them in the clubhouse with 70s. The end of their opening round of 3. This 13th E1 Charity Open. And welcome back to Payroom. Pick things up with Emi Jung. Her drive just rolled out of the fairway, playing her second on the par 4 from the rough. Long roll needed, trying to avoid that little bowl on the path to the pin. Didn't quite have the speed to get up to the other side of that. Be a similar putt for Emi Jung as Jung Ji-oh is facing here. Been a good bit of personal redemption after her mystifying par at the last, but she won't be able to positively influence the score yet again. Now An Sung-yi even on 11. Gravity lends a hand as she gets closer. That was the speed that Emi Jung was looking for. It's a pretty good on. Well anticipated, well executed. 4 birdies in a row for Han-Shin Sun as she is skyrocketing up the leaderboard into a share of the top 10. Pin high with not a whole lot in the way of tricky elevation changes. Only way she could have been better on that approach is if she jarred it. Tried for that birdie. After 3 holes without, she is back in the birdie column on number 11. Approach for Park Yeon-kyung at number 12. She's going to head all the way to the back left corner of this green.
Nice.
Aggravating near miss. Hear the rattle as she taps in the par. We will go up to the 13th tee with Han-Shin Sun.
Good shot.
She will just pop into the second cut. And An Sung-yi, yes. Well struck. Under par for the first time since hole number 9. It's her second birdie of the round. Jungmin with the driver on the par 4 13. She will be able to hang on into the fairway. Jin Young 2 tracking and delivering. Good bounce back from her first bogey of the round as she returns to that 3-under score. And Lee Jung-eun gonna move it back to the right. Hutchinson more in the rough than we thought based on our angle off the tee. Doesn't throw her off her stride that much. A bit more than bang average. We'll investigate how Park Young fares on the par 5 before heading back to the fairway. I suppose the rough. And for Park Young, oh, just about another birdie. Catches a piece, but not enough of the inside left of the cup for it to fall. Yes, Moon Jung-min, it looked as though she was able to stay in the fairway. It's not a treacherous bit of rough that she finds herself in. We can attribute the lie to offer a bit of an explanation as to why she wasn't as close as she certainly would have liked to have been. Going back to the par 3s, there are 2 at 14 and 16. The hearts of the back 9. It's a solid effort from Lee Jung. If she could get birdies on both, she would be right there in the podium places. Directly over the sand trap, you find the flag. Shaped over to the left, but pin high and a decent section of the green to be on with little in the way of break. Now a 7-iron for Hong Jin Young 2. That looks really good. It's a terrific tee shot. Just about anyone plays this game, from the most casual of casuals to players in the Korean top flight, would have have a smile to match that ear-to-ear grin with a tee shot like that. So Jiun's not sure yet. Nothing to get her jumping for joy. She's the furthest from the pin. She will be putting for birdie. Waiting to see what caused that triumphant roar that we heard a couple of minutes ago. Moon Jung-min can reach, I think that would warrant one. Doesn't really move online in any discernible way. So our hunt continues for the highlight reel shot.
많아서 말이 모르겠어. 너무 많죠. 맞아.
Chung Ji-oh. Speed was spot on. Moves a little offline and never is able to recover. So GM starting the long way back. It's going to take 2 putts, however. Jin Sun at 7.1 meters separating her and a birdie. Needs to straighten out. Supporter yelps. They certainly thought it was going to have a different outcome. Jung also close but no cigar. She'll have to stay at 4 under.
나이스! 화이팅!
We're in a bit of a cold streak, aren't we, across the course? It's been hard to come by. Buck Young Young at 13, the approach.
나이스.
It's another pretty great one. Dongan. Left side of the fairway, looking onto the green, and getting it to stop in a hurry. It's one of her best approaches of the afternoon. Young 2 was a very promising tee shot onto the green, and somehow was not able to escape with even the same score. She bogeys. Two-putt par for Sojian. Well, she's smiling, but that's an anxious smile. And breathe a sigh of relief as she's safely on. Tough to argue Moon Jung-min with a good start to the par 3. Next up on the par 3, and a lot to be desired with that tee shot. Well left and up onto the fringe. Such a powerfully struck drive, it bounces once in the rough and returns to the fairway. Jin Young for her birdie, yes. Just their second of the round, 6, and here at 12. From about 2 meters, she ends up almost as far on the other side. Something went awry in the setup for that putt. Here it comes, the final roll past the pin. Leaves her with only about a meter for the par. Jin Sun on 14, so take her to 4 under par. Yes, one of her best of the day thus far. To a share of 5th with 5 birdies in her last 6. We have not seen a run quite like that today. You have to look all the way to the top at Kim Min Sun 7 to come close. Remains a wide open green. A little bit fortunate with the roll through the lower crust, we can say, of this green. A lot of work to do yet. I don't know if there's a fear of what's on the other side of the pin, but We've seen a lot of people short. Well, she knew. Drops her head back in frustration. Moon will settle for a par. And now on the par 3 14th, pardon me, easy for me to say. It slows down just as it gets to pin high, leaving her with a 4.5 meter putt for a birdie. Hanshin Sun has the big stick in hand to begin this par 4 15th.
넘어가는 건 좀 타이트해.
Park Young, 7-iron, I believe. So what flashes across the screen for the club in hand. It's a bit long and tails around. Obviously, an unenviable results, as the sand is never a fun place to be. Back to 15. Excellent touch. And using the pin as a backboard. Jin Young too. It's been an up and down pendulum style back nine. Birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey. She'll take the birdies when she can get them. With a strong drive, and now we head back to the greens. 14.9 meters, Imi Jung for a birdie. Realistically, she knows this is a setup for a par. She came awfully close despite the odds. Here's the approach. Lands and stays put. Little bit of a slide by a centimeter or two. She splits the difference between her group mate and the pin. I don't know that anyone will be feeling overtly confident about a birdie, but it's a chance for a special putter too. And now on 14, tracking well line-wise. Need a little extra oomph to get it all the way there. Again, Young will have to settle for par. She's certainly cooled off, but still in and around the top 10. Unseen Sun and her 7-iron on 15. Runs that all the way to the backside of the green.
자신만 떨어뜨릴게요.
막히는 바람 없어.
살짝 왼쪽?
살짝만 했어.
Jung Geo is 7-iron, playing from the rough, her second. Looking down at the green. It's about half the way from the fringe to the pin. Settles to a stop where she can pitch, chip, or putt. There are some pretty nasty bunkers on the course. This isn't at the most extreme end of the scale, but it's certainly not going to be easy. A meter back from the edge. It's short, but she will be putting. Back we go to the par threes from Jin Young. It is an 8 iron. 138 meters. This is just about the shortest hole on course with a front pin placement today. Arrives on the green. Now Im Jin Young swooping right to left and ends with just a bit more than a tap in. She'll mark off. She didn't look confident standing over the putt, and the result won't come as a surprise to her. With this opening day and 144 players to get through, shouldn't come as a surprise that there are still some people who are only halfway through the round. Which means for them, the possibilities are still limitless. Well, maybe not limitless, let's not be too carried away here, but they know there are 9 holes to impact the scorecard and climb up the leaderboard. Imi Jung, Han Shin Sun, Chung So-yi, Pak Soo-jin 2. Those 4 players hovering around the top 3 spots, tied for 5th currently on their back nines. We'll take a quick break and come back with more here live at the 13th E1 Charity Open as our coverage of the KLPGA Tour continues. Always great to come back from a break with a birdie. She has been full of them on this back nine. She's unfortunately been accompanying a few too many bogeys on that scorecard, but she'll take the birdies where she can find them. Im Jin Young, 2 under par. She's playing a 7-iron on this par 3. And that was absolutely the perfect club. More than half the battle has been won. It's on 16. Imi Jiang for 5 under par. Quite the threshold to reach. It's been a very tough score to try and crack. She'll have to wait at least one more hole. Han Jin Sun. Tight line this around the fringe. Maybe should have played it on the fringe. She was in a tough spot because she couldn't chip.
백라인이야? 백라인은
Just trying to do the best with the tools she had at her disposal.
죄송해요. 퍼터는
So Jian is next to go to 3 under par. This her putt at 16. Fades away to the right and offline.
아니면 끝 보고 살짝 태어난 느낌으로 헤드업 하지 말고.
Aksu Jin 2. She's only halfway through her round and she could move to just 3 back. It's been a brilliant start for her. Just enough on the putt to go. Tied for 3rd. Look at that. Eagle 13, birdie 16, 17, 18. She hits the turn into 31.
내가 원하는
Par secured. Just a few centimeter tap in. Gets most of the way there. Bit of a dour note to end on. One last tap of the putter. Long flight bounces off the fringe and will come back down a touch. 15.2 for Moon Jung-min on the par 4 15th. Starting it well to the left of the hole. Here comes the break. The speed looks pretty good. A valiant effort. Bun, her tee shot on number 1. Able to net 35 after 9 holes of play. Jin Young 2 set up with her driver. The edge of the 17th tee blocks. Back to 15, just a little bit under hit. It's a decent try. Blasted drive, skips thrice, and settles in the fairway. That's an excellent putt. Lee Dong-eun ends the long dry spell of 8 holes without a birdie. It's her 3rd of the day. She is now tied for 12th position. And even straightening out and disappearing behind the flag. From that distance out, it's vintage Park Young-kyung, one of her best of the day. Jin Young, well deserved after a great tee shot. She moves just outside of the top 10. Only a quartet of holes to play. Nine iron for Moon Jung-min on this par 3 16th. not desirable results. I think that's safe to say. Long way off from the green. Staring down the approach to the green. Excellent spin. Brings it to a soft halt. A very makeable putt for birdie. Just about off the pin. 2 for 2. Very attackable placement in this first round. Oh, I was right there with the gallery. Thought that was going to go. Her iron play has been top class all day long. Young with such a marvelous setup, but she couldn't cash in. Well, finally a change on page 1, and what a change it is. Pak Soo-jin 2, after 9 holes, has launched herself into a tie for 3rd position. Hong Jin-young 2 and Lee Mi-jung both running out of holes, as is Lee Chae-eun 2 on the 2nd page. Of the top 10 names, that's 20 of 144 as we are striding into hour number 3 of round number 1, the 13th E1 Charity Open. Well, that's the sound of Im Jin Young digging into the fairway bunker on 15. Considering the lie, she'll be happy to be putting. She won't be happy that it's from that far out, though. Jin Sun, corner of the green, putting for birdie on the par 3 16th. It just misses outside right. Really good attempt. Lee Jung-eun in her 9-iron from the rough. 123 will probably play like 140. Seen many a player putt from almost that exact spot to varying degrees of success. Jung-min, this will move left to right. Up to 4 under. Her patience and her persistence pays off. 5th birdie on the day, 2 holes to play. Coach Yu can join her at that score. Should also move a bit to the right. It is rather significantly uphill at the end. Didn't move as much as we thought. Pace was good. Geo too fast, she knew it. So Jin, one of her best setups, and it's a tap in for a birdie to go to 3 under par. Tricky chip. Almost couldn't even see the ball in the rough, and makes it look easy. Good up. Two holes to play. Moon Jung-min. Tied for 6th position. She didn't look particularly enthused about the drive. The spot of it, well, she'll take that. Was absolutely nowhere near where Amy Jung expected the break to go. It was a serpentine route to the hole, and it's the latest in a string of frustrating holes for Lee Jung of late. To the 16th tee, Park Young-kyung. One of her best tee shots of the day. She needs the putter to come and join her. Irons have been solid for her in the opening round. She sails on by her partner Tung Jio with a strong drive. Gets up and down well for the par. Last in the group. 3 drives from 3, all in regulation. A lot of ground to cover. She covered most of it. And nicely done, Pak Yang Young. 2 strokes is all it takes after 5 pars in a row. She hits that elusive 4-under mark. Angle wasn't going to work in her favor. Picks the second cleanly here on 18. She's applauded for persevering. Won Jungmin and her 9-iron, 120 to go, has to get up over the sand trap.
오, 나이스.
That's nicely struck. loses the handle and watches nervously. She'll have some company back there. Well, despite the overcast conditions, really nice day out here on the course. 21 degrees, hardly any wind whatsoever. It's a really attackable weather forecast for the field, and they're letting their play do the talking. About 4 meters from perfection. Well, we have not always had the best in terms of audio for Park Young's group. As we saw her at the last hole on 16, we have it for you on 16 with Lee Dong, and that's great news. 9 iron, 3 under par.
Shot.
A really nice shot. Fantastic off the tee. Side by side. Could hardly fit a ball marker between them. Imi Jung could do something hilarious and go right in between them. Might be harder than holding out at this point. She came close. Have to check that portion of the green for a magnet. Leaves herself with less than a meter. A decent first putt. Raucous ovation for a par as she nears the end of round one. Jung Geo. That she'll feel 100% confident over that putt, but it's one she should make. up into the top 10. 2 birdies in the last 3 holes for Lee Dong-eun with just a couple to play.
그렇지. 그렇지, 그렇지.
She had her work cut out for her and still musters up a decent attempt. She's felt the highs and she's felt the lows. She has really dialed in this putter on the back 9. Her judgment of pace, fantastic. Slightly off on the alignment to cost her a birdie. 1 hole to play. Now Sojian. Not quite gonna reach. With a 34 in, with a 35, a 3 under in the opening round. Right to left and perfectly judged. Amy Jung for 5 under. Excellent conclusion to an excellent first round. She breathes a big sigh of relief as she finally has another. A quiet back 9, but she avoided the bogeys all day. Good save there for par. Staying on trend, Hong Jin-young 2. Those 2 bogeys on the back 9, but otherwise, absolutely brilliant day. Avoid some of the mistakes tomorrow and she'll be in an excellent position heading into the final rounds. Beeline from the tee box into the hillside rough. 17, this is Park Young putting from the fringe. It's going to pick up speeds. Just off on the alignment. Good putt. Well, we are nearing in very quickly on the end of the opening round. Starting to see more and more names added to that 5-under score. Imi Jung in with a 67 to match Pacquiao and Shea Reem. And that forces Park Ji-young and Park Ju-young off onto page 2. Moon Jung-min. She is up there in that tie for 8th position as well. We'll watch Lee Chae-in 2. And Lee Sung-yeon at 4 under par. One more quick break. Back with more groups finishing off at 18 at the Payram course. So we'll bring you more from the 13th E1 Charity Open. And welcome back. As promised, more from the groups coming through the 18th hole. Han Chin Sun playing her second on this par 5. Jung Jio from the rough. Play the hybrid as she tries to swoop that back into the fairway. She's just off it to the left.
본 거보다 왼쪽으로 갔어. 러프라.
너가 앉아.
It's an uneventful second shot. Lee Dong-in hopes that's not the case here. She wants it to be eventful. She wants to set up a birdie on the penultimate hole. She's just in the rough and is playing a pitching wedge. She's on the front stage of the green and will have a complicated, let's call it, putt for the birdie. Moon Jung-min 125. She can birdie, that would take her to a share of third position. Obviously, she needs to focus on one stroke at a time. To be precise, the pin is almost exactly halfway down the green and 6 yards from the left fringe. It does bring that sand trap into play. She goes right at it with some exceptional control. Podium spot is there for the taking. We're hoping that she only has one stroke left today. Meters from the rough. Doing the last plan of attack. Late movement. Pardon me, after arriving on the green. She's also sitting in a really good spot. Chance to birdie, which is what Im Jin Young can do here. Knew what the break was going to do. Just comes in a little bit late. It's a decent grouping on the 17th hole. So we got a little bit of extra help with the downslope. And is this gonna go? Yes, just enough. That is excellent from Lee Dong-eun. 3 birdies in the last 4 holes. 5 under with 1 to play.
스타트가 다야?
Well, it's certainly getting interesting towards the top of the table. No one's been able to crack Kim Min-sun's 7 score of 8 under, and who could blame them? Bogey-free round for her, 8 birdies, 10 pars, and is absolutely and rightfully the pace setter as we near the end of our Friday round coverage, the 13th E1 Charity Open. Back to 18 after the break. welcome back. It's just about closing time here at Payram. The final couple of holes. Contenders and some players who remain frustrated. Hanjin Sun is one of them, 3 under after 18 holes. She had a chance for a birdie. That slips through the cracks. And now Kim Min-ju on 17 and making it look easy. Able to tap in from there and quickly reset for one last go down 18. Jung Ji-oh, an opening round 69. Left to right breaking putts. Brilliant execution. Birdies at 2, 3, 7, and 18. A bogey at 10. And she will be 5 back when she gets to the course tomorrow. Next to approach Coach Yu, 9 iron in hand, 117 meters over the sands. She is short, and we haven't seen anyone actually end up in that bunker yet today. It certainly looks like that's where she was headed, and I'll be curious to see how she navigates that lie. Pak Bo-gyam thinking, okay, let's not do that. And maybe she second-guessed herself just enough to reach for a bit more club. 9 iron is what she lands on. 117, 4 meters over the trap. Up and over the trap, I should specify. Needs to climb up onto the green, and it'll play about 125 with a little bit of a headwind here in the fairway. She just avoids it. Lands in the tall grass, stops in the rough. 1 birdie, likely a par, and then who knows? Based on the lie we could see in the sand in a few moments' time. Before we get there though, Moon Jung-min, this is her 67th stroke of the day. She has putted really well on the back 9. That one will be understandably very frustrating. Settles for a par, just outside the top 10 by day's end, the 68. And with the green cleared. Go on back, the gallery shouts. The ball complies. Been flying under the radar a bit in this group today. And now Coach Yu. As long as you roll back from that front side to about the middle, it's just like any other bunker shot. She gets up, we'll see if she can come down for the save. Lee So-young will be next. She's still at 1 under after 17. This is her setup shot on the 18th. She has the distance to try, but says, you know what, let's just get to the end of the fairway here and not risk forcing the issue. Stand corrected, that was an iron she just played. She is a power hitter, and that's exhibit B. Pakbogyam putting from the fringe. That's a really good try. A bit of an awkward one. It'll be a downhill tap to get the putt started. Before flattening out, she won't have much room for air. And now Park Young 80 meters on her approach at the 18th. Look at the back spin. Could have 3 birdies from 3 in this group in just a few moments' time. Some great approach shots. Now, Coach Yu, this is to save the par. Just got to skirt down the downslope. Too much speed and she'll drop. Jung Yoon-ji for her birdie. Breaks left in the final moment, and she'll have to settle for a par. 71 to open the tournament. Down the lakes of EA1, that's not bad company to keep. 4 birdies and 3 bogeys in this 18. That's a good putt and a good score. Back-to-back birdies now. She's up to 4 of them on the round. Tension turns. He's so young. Not a lot of take you out of your seats type of shots today, only at 1 under after 17, but can end with the birdie. Fractionally off. Maybe a bit emblematic on how this Friday afternoon went for her. Birdie's at 9-16, a bogey at the first. She is tied for 50th as well, and now one last chance for Park Young to go up. Absolutely sensational setup shots. Good finish to the round. Bogey free, 2 birdies on the front, 3 on the way in, 5 under, tied for 5th. At the 33% mark of the tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your up-to-date leaderboard. Lee Chae-In-Tu and Chung So-Lee on 18. And teed off on hole number 10. They are both 2 strokes back of the leaders. We did see Park Soo-Jin 2 slow a little bit with 4 more rounds to play. 4 more holes to play in this opening round. As more and more of the field, the 144 that started off the morning into the afternoon, get close to the finish line. We'll step aside and come back with more at Payrom. 5:05 local time here in Yoju-shi. We are getting close to the finish line as we have our next group coming through hole number 18. Sung-yi in her third shot. She's only 104 meters out. Seeing lots of players attack the pin to great success. She is the next in a growing list. Go to 9 now. Iche and 2 at 6 under par. That's only 2 strokes back. This is her setup. Also on the par 5. Not quite the carry she needed, but if she is able to birdie that, she would take outright second position. And look at this scorecard. Birdies 13, 17, 18, 5, 7, and 8. Bogey free. Very impressive. Opening round to the event. Lee Jung-eun's setup shot, 87 meters only. Going on the attack with the 52-degree wedge. Wonderful grouping. Surely a couple of birdies in and amongst those. Very makeable putting locations. Kim Min-ju's second shot at 18. 290. She currently sits 5 meters above the hole. She was hoping that was just going to be an easy hybrid shot, but that is out of bounds, and I don't know that it's coming back. Kochiu and a 5-wood, I believe. Much less dramatic, and that will be just fine with her. Straight down the middle of the fairway. We'll rejoin them in a moment. An Sung-yi first. We should see this move ever so slightly, but straighter than you'd think. And downhill, so she just needs the alignment. Breaks away on her. And it will be a 71.
끝까지 못 쳤어. 치다 말았어. 즐겼어. 저번에?
And Im Jin Young for a 68. 4 under would be tied for 12th position. She has a similar miss. So, in a bit of disbelief. I understand why. She was bogey free, and that in its own right is quite the accomplishment, but it won't bring much in the way of an uplifting feeling. Her failing to pick up a fourth bird with their final putt. So that ball definitely lost. Kim Min-ju will take her penalty stroke. Now Lee Dong-eun.
나이스.
6 under par. What a round. 4 birdies in the final 5 holes in the day after going 8 in a row without one. One of the 5 best opening round performances. Now Lee Chae-eun 2. Coming on back. She has a 7th. All by herself in the runner-up position. Exact same finish. 4 birdies in the last 5 holes. Teed off on the 10th and absolutely torched the course today. Kim Min-ju, this is her 4th, so she needs to be as close as possible. She'll be putting to avoid a bogey. Wasn't a particularly daunting looking second shot, but she showed she's human. Hooked it off out of bounds and has no margin for error. Coach Yu at 3 under. Over top of Kim Min-ju's ball. Also a bit further out than she wanted to be. But Bo-kyung quietly going about a strong performance. 3 under, her 3rd at the last. She'll be closest to the pin. Putting green's a popular spot at the moment. Everyone trying to tune up for tomorrow. By virtue of this only being a 54-hole competition, well, have 1 round fewer to make a move. First round becomes all the more important. Kim Min-sun 7 took that lesson to heart. Started strong and carried that along all day long. Her putter was absolutely scorching hot. We'll see some of her best moments throughout our highlight pack here, including her first appearance on the highlight reel. Excellently worked putts at that point took her to 5 under par. 4 is where we go next. Still sharing the lead at this point, but that would be short-lived. Simple finish on the par 4 4th. One of the groups that was drawn to tee off on the back 9. Made no difference to her. She had a good read on both courses. The next from Chae-eun. An approach to about 3.5 meters or so. Add another to the hole. 5 is where we go next. The lead was 1 until this putt when Kim Min-sun 7 made it a pair. Back-to-back birdies 4 and 5. 7 Left to right breaking putt. Keep the flag in, she told her caddy. Ended up being a very good decision for her. Well, the secret, and it's not much of a secret because everyone knows, you putt well, you always have a shot. Pacquiao with an example of that, and the final birdie, Kim Sunset. Her lead went to 2 strokes, and that's where it would stay for the longest time. This would have been about an hour and change before we came on the air. Approach shot that bounces once at the end of the fairway and rolls very, very close. Single tap the rest of the way. Amy Jung got the round off and running. Hole number 9. When you see the short birdies, the short birdie putts, I should clarify, you know that the approach was great. We didn't see it, we just saw the end results. Bak Young had a lot more work to do on that putt, splitting the ball markers, finding the bottom of the cup. And then Bak Young still on the climb this for birdie on the par 3 16th. She did a really high amount of birdieing after being a bit dry for some time. We'll put together a great run on the way to the clubhouse. Another bogey-free round, Amy Jung. You could see the relief on her face when she finally had one more.
Shot.
No straightforward putt this on 16. Dongman understanding, anticipating the left to right break, and here that it got down for birdie, just like this one did. Dramatic roll in at the end. Lee Dongman would add another. Back to 18. Bak Young, 80 meters, lands this and pulls it on a string, keeping it close. She would do the rest from there. Certainly wasn't a tap in. No mistake about it. Share 5th position. 9, a shot that we just saw moments ago. Each to 4.2 meters uphill, lots of break. Made it look easy. Jumping out and grabbing that runner-up position. Back to 18. Speaking of shots we just saw a few moments ago.
Nice.
A couple of putts to get herself there. In with a 32 after going out with a 34. I presume this is just coming in. Chung So-hee in the group with Lee Chae-eun-2. She can also go to 7 under. Another putt with plenty of break. Starts to move half a second too late. She'll tap in for a 66.
Okay.
Birdies of 5, 6, 8, 11, 13, and 16, all pars otherwise. And that brings us
수고하셨습니다.
to our final group on the 18th hole. Quite the clubhouse out on the horizon. Good place to unwind, I'm sure, after a taxing 4.5 hours. Kim Min-joo trying to save a par uphill, needs the speed. Even with the line, she might have just run out of it. So that shot into, or that shot out of bounds, I should say, her second on this par 5, contributes to her first and only bogey. 3 under, tied for 21st.
거기서는 거의 힘들어.
Go Chiu. Long backswing, firm contact. She had the opposite problem, a bit too much pace to the putt. She'll settle for a par. And that leaves 1. At least for our intents and purposes. It's puck bogey on for a 68. You know where it's going to break. She found the perfect balance with the speed. She won't quite crack the top 10 after a slow first 10 holes to start the round, but 4 birdies in the final 7 of the afternoon, and she finishes tied for 12th position. So that will do it for us in this opening round. The highlights to get you up to speed on what was an exhilarating day at the Payram Club. Kim Min Sun 7, just a 1-stroke advantage over Lee Chae-eun 2. Lee Jung-eun, Chae-eun, Chung So-lee, all at 6 under par. Then you have the contingent, and it's a healthy contingent of half a dozen. Park Young-young, Jae Rim, Park Yeol, Im Jung, Lee Seung-yeon, and Park Soo-jin 2, the final 2 in that list, still out there on the course. We'll say goodbye for today, a Friday at Payram. A reminder that we are back on the air at the exact same time tomorrow for an early moving day in this 3-round competition. Tomorrow will be absolutely pivotal for those who want to keep themselves in the mix for a 180 million won payday on Sunday, and of course some more fantastic charitable initiatives to get through amongst the round as always. On behalf of the entire crew here, we thank you for tuning in. So long for today, but a brief return until tomorrow, where our coverage of the 13th E1 Charity Open will continue. Have a great evening, everyone.